Hello from New York, where the first ever senior level meeting of the Global Partnership for Effective Development Cooperation took place today and yesterday at the United Nations headquarters. This SLM, or what we call the senior level meeting, would actually help in and will contribute towards the implementation of Agenda 2030 in the coming decade. Today we are fortunate enough to have with us Richard Ssewakiryanga, who is co-chair of CPDE, that is the CSO Partnership for Development Effectiveness, and he is also executive director of Uganda National NGO Forum. Richard, what is CPDE? Could you explain a little bit about it and what is its vision?
Well, thank you very much. CPDE is a global platform. It is a platform that brings together many organizations across the world in different sectors that are working towards making sure that we influence behavior change in terms of how development effectiveness is practiced by donors, by partner country governments, and also by civil society. So CPDE, at the heart of what we do, is we practice or focus on influencing behavior change of all those different actors as I have talked about it. We have over 4,000 members that are in different constituencies, including international organizations, national platforms, organizations in the rural sector, organizations of disabled persons, indigenous people, young people, women, and so we are a very, very diverse group.
Okay, so could you explain a little bit more about what your work in CPD entail, your roles and responsibilities?
Yes, the fundamental roles and responsibilities of a co-chair is we contribute to the overall governance of CPDE, and in my own part, I represent the Africa region, and there are other co-chairs that represent Europe, that represents Latin America, that represents Asia.
So how many co-chairs?
And we are 5 in a group. So it's really a very democratic organization in a sense that we don't have only one person at the end. We have 5 people and we share out our roles. Some of us participate on policy engagements, others co-chair. There is one who participates on financing and oversight, another on communication, another on membership. So we share out the roles of making sure that this process works efficiently to do the work we are supposed to do.
Okay. What do you think is the biggest accomplishment of this platform? One or more accomplishments if you want to share.
Well, the CPD, I think, has had several accomplishments, but I will just mention a few which I think are up there. The first one is when the development cooperation discussion started, many people didn't recognize the fact that civil society organizations are a development actor on their own. Many of them thought that the work of civil society is about supporting government. But we have been able to influence that thinking to the extent that now the Nairobi outcome document that came out in 2014 and 16 mentions clearly that we are development actors in our own right. And the reason and the usefulness of that is that then it gives civil society organization particular recognition that to do our work, we also have to create what we call independent thinking and independent interventions that can supplement government, complement government or even just bring out initiatives that are ours. So that's a very big achievement that we have had as an organization. The other one, I think, is the achievement that we have also been able to make it clear to many of the partners within the CPDE fraternity that we must ensure that development cooperation is human rights based. Some of them started by thinking that a human rights based approach to development cooperation is not necessary. They thought that that is an issue only for governance. And we have been able to demonstrate through our analytical work and statements we have released that true effective development is supposed to be rooted in a human rights-based approach. And that, I think, is important, because what that does is that it shows that every duty bearer has a responsibility to respond to people as humans. Yeah.
Why is effective development cooperation so important, particularly in today's context?
I think the fundamental reason why development has to be effective is because we know that all over the years that we have been there as a development community, we have so many examples of money being badly used. For example, there have been many times when we have had donors coming into a country and say, we are going to give you technical assistance. And when they arrive, they come with their own people, they come with their own frameworks, they come with their own technology, and they come in a country, they try to help that country, and then the country finds that everything is coming, but it's very foreign. So, but in effective development, the first thing you have to think about is, what are the needs of the recipient? What can I do for that person who I am giving? So that's one of the reasons why it is very important. The other thing is that effective development cooperation, also, we want it to be principle-based, meaning that when you give resources, you should be able to account for your giving, but also demand accountability to those you have given, so that there is a mutual accountability. And for us, we think that is also an important part of how we do development.
Why should the civil society organizations be part of development cooperation discussions and discussions around this important issue?
The most important reason why civil society has to really think about development is that when you think about it, civil society organizations are people's organizations. They are formed because they are responding to the needs of people. So if the money that comes through, the funding that comes through development cooperation is about helping people to change their lives, then it goes without saying that the organizations that are formed to support people must be part of that discussion. Because what that does is that it helps for development to become more people-based.
So now what more should CSOs be doing in order to be more effective and to help more for achieving Agenda 2030? What more steps can be taken by civil society organizations?
I think one of the very, very important things that should happen for civil society is that the Agenda 2030 has done something very, very important. It has positioned itself as an agenda which is about people, it's about the planet, it's about peace, it's about prosperity, and it's about partnerships. Now, for a civil society organization to say that there is a global agenda that is about those 5 things is like a gift. It is a framework that allows us to work in a manner that we can respond more to people, because we are talking about leaving no one behind, and therefore we are responding to them through a framework that actually connects some of the most fundamental parts of human existence, which is those 5 P's I've mentioned.
So what more can they do? Means what are the other more steps which CSOs can take or are taking maybe, or is there something lacking which can be improved?
I think the critical things that civil society have to do now is that they have to bring together their resources. They have to work more in solidarity to respond to the needs of local communities. We have to do a lot more of that, because that's what leave no one behind means. It means we have to work more at a national level, at a local level, to ensure that we influence what goes on the ground. That's the first thing we need to do. The other thing we need to do is we now need to also create new partnerships. We can no longer work only as civil society. We have to be in partnership with governments, with the private sector, with the international community. Because, again, as I said, another P in the Agenda 2030 is partnerships. But we also have to ensure that we mobilize all types of resources that can allow for communities to develop. Because prosperity is about development. Not development only in money issues, but development in human well-being, in sustainability, in looking after yourself and your future generations. And those are things that civil society must practically focus on.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Richard. We were in conversation with Richard Ssewakiryanga, co-chair of CPDE. Thank you very much.